If I killed several people and defended my actions by saying, oh, well, millions of people die every day anyway, so, you know, what's 3 more or something? I think most of you would agree that I'd be in the wrong in that scenario. However, people use a similar argument all the time to defend their actions. Maybe they don't use it in the exact context that I just did. In the 1800s, Friedrich Engels published his essay On Authority, in which he explained why he thought the state should exist. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be neutral. As an anarchist, I obviously have a huge bias against this essay. He effectively says something along the lines of, because of the fact that technology doesn't work in certain ways, you can only use the technology in these specific ways. Therefore, you're bound by the authority of the laws of physics and the limits of human technological development. Therefore, you also might as well be bound by the authority of the state. You can try to argue with him and tell him that, oh no, necessity is not authority, but even if necessity was actually authority, that does not mean that we should then set up a state. Authoritarianism is just an abstract concept invented by humanity to describe something that goes on in the world. Yet despite that, to this day, modern Marxists are still using it to defend the authoritarianism of the socialist regimes of modern day and the 20th century. It's the logical fallacy of, oh, we do this a little bit anyway, therefore we should do it a lot. And you might think that, oh, nobody's going to fall for that, but people do. And that's why I wanted to make a video giving examples of this logical fallacy, because clearly some people do fall for it. So another example of this fallacy is there's a lot of people on YouTube who teach you how to brainwash people to do what you want. And while they're obviously lying, their strategies don't work. When they're asked to justify their actions, they're like, how can you justify this, you know? They often defend their practices using the argument, well, we're all manipulators anyway. Like, asking somebody to do something is technically manipulating them because they wouldn't have done that thing otherwise, so we might as well do a lot more manipulation like this. The third and final example of this logical fallacy that I want to give is My Case for Egoism, a video by ThoughtBat. Egoism is effectively a strain of anarchist thought where you should prioritize yourself over the collective. It's effectively individualist anarchism, really. Now, obviously, the correct answer to this debate is to have a healthy mix of both individualism and collectivism. Like, you can't go too far in either direction. However, this guy's case for egoism, i.e. you should just do what's best for yourself, one of his main arguments that he uses in the video is, well, everything we do is egoistic to a little anyway. Altruism doesn't in fact exist, because if you did something completely to help another person, you're then helping yourself because it makes you feel good about yourself or something, or because it makes yourself happy because your friend is now happy.
Stirner also highlighted that critics of egoism are necessarily hypocritical, as those critics are necessarily egoists themselves. All actions are egoistic to some degree. This is because, in order to act, one must make a value judgment, as value is the affinity to act in order to attain or preserve some objective. We therefore necessarily act according to our own value judgments, whether they be rational or otherwise, and so it follows that sacrifice, which is giving up a higher value in exchange for a lesser value, is impossible. Acts of compassion, such as giving food to a stranger, is from a result of valuing the stranger's health more than the result of eating the food yourself. Because action is a result of your value judgments, the actions you take are still for your own sake.
So if every action we do anyway is a little bit egoist, then we might as well be really, really egoist and not care about anybody else. My point of this video is, just because you do a little bit of something does not mean you have to do a lot of it, and anybody who, you know, uses that argument is wrong, and I know most people aren't going to fall for it, but clearly some people do fall for it, so I just want to make sure that everybody watching this video is now not vulnerable to that argument.